Hey everybody, Shane Presley here to tell you about my friend's music record shop. Check them out, 4191A Manchester Avenue in the heart of the Grove, right between the demo and the ready room. Head down there and visit them and pick up some new records. They always new vinyl in every Friday. Lots of great used vinyl, CDs, tapes, and a fantastic local selection. Get on, take a look, pick up some new music. They do a lot of live in stores on Saturdays and all kinds of fun stuff. So get out, support your local record store. Find them online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, musicrecordshop.com.
Hey everybody, we're My Legacy, My Ghost!
And you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Yeah, this is Rock Paper Podcast with Shane and his guests. You will listen to what he says. Shane will drive to your house and bring you brownies and talk for hours, 'cause it's Rock Paper Podcast. Tell me why it's nothing but a podcast. Tell me why we're making this for your ass. Tell me why. All you gotta do is download Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Attic full of pews with a thirst for figs. I combine all my colors and they don't seem to mix. The palette of everything is out inside, and all the colors mean different things in my eyes. The white is for purity, so tired and true. The gray is how it's tainted and gone too soon. The black is more the demon that lives in my head, and when it comes alive, it's depicted in red. I'm like a goddamn artist with the words that I spit. You know, I tear myself apart, can't ever quit. Ignited, I am a soul on fire, and anointed, I am the great pariah. I'm like a goddamn artist with the things that I say, and the words that cover up and pass that stain. Ignited, I am a soul on fire, and anointed, I am the great pariah. I'm the architect of my own demise. I put my hand down with a plea and a cry, but the point of the message must have been missed, 'cause here I still reside behind my wall of bricks. I wanna be more than what I've made. I wanna be more than a ball of clay. Touched by everything I felt and seen. Is there a way I could ever be free? I'm like a goddamn artist with the words that I spit. You know, I tear myself apart, can't ever quit. Ignited, I am a soul on fire, and anointed, I am the great pariah. I'm like a goddamn artist with the things that I say, and the words that cover up and pass that stain. Ignited, I am a soul on fire, and anointed, I am the great pariah. I wanna be more than all my pain. I wanna know that I could be saved. I wanna finally see the light of day and become more than a fallen saint. I stand before my canvas with my pain and
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from beautiful Sauget, Illinois, hanging out at Pops with the guys of My Legacy, My Ghost. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, glad to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Glad to be here.
Very glad to be here.
Yeah, this is only fitting that we're recording at Pops, where I first saw you guys,
Yeah,
and where your next show is going to be.
where all our
And-
shows have pretty much been.
Yeah, so it's only it seems very appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess let's start. Everybody want to say hi, introduce yourselves for those listening at home. And
Yeah. Hey, well, I'm Nathan, and 8. Yeah.
And you play?
I play guitar badly.
My name is Drake. I also play guitar. Better than Nate, but not by a whole lot. Cool.
I'm Eric. I play drums.
And I'm Fox, and I sing. Short, sweet, and to the point.
I'm Weaver, and I also play bass, also badly.
Also play bass.
I also play bass.
Yeah, so well, that's where I mentioned seeing you guys down here. What was that? The Road to Point Fest, or
Yeah, that was Road to Point Fest,
Yeah.
the finale thing.
Yeah.
That one.
But yeah, you guys first caught my attention that night, and then I was down here. I forget who else was on that bill, but come down to see some friends.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Oh, on the acoustic show with all the other cover bands, or?
No,
not-
at the finals.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like
Okay.
Nervous Pudding, Soundtrap, Diamondback Kings,
Odom.
Coyotes,
Coyotes.
Odom,
That whole bill was fantastic.
yeah. What were the other bands?
Yeah.
It was System Slave.
Yeah,
And
that was
I think that was everybody.
yeah, all 7.
And then us.
No, there was 8.
Yeah.
And we were the 8.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Uh,
Math. Do I do it?
that Diamondback Kings, those guys are really great, man.
Yeah,
I-
Oh, yeah, we were really impressed by their
Yeah.
success.
I really wish I could have seen more because we were tearing down since we had played right before them, and I
Yeah.
was so bummed I didn't get to see more of them. But they're really good.
That whole night, we even on the drive home, we
Silent
were.
Hollow.
Yes, God, how do we freaking forget? We love those guys.
Yeah,
That was
They
awesome.
were incredible.
But that was
Yeah.
that whole night. Seriously, we were on the drive home. We were on the real. Any band that played that night could have won, and nobody could be mad because that whole show was so stacked. Those
Yeah,
bands
that
were
was
all
so
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had Silent Hollow on the show.
Oh yeah, great guys.
Dimeback Kings, and Odom recently. So working my way off, checking everybody off that list. So
Right.
yeah,
Halfway there.
yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun that night, and then I guess it was a little bit later. I went to the POD
Yes,
show.
POD,
And,
Call Point Hero and Discrepancies.
Yeah, discrepancies. I remember that. I
Yeah.
missed that show. I had to work. It was depressing.
I had a great time, and then
Great show.
Nathan and Fox came up and said hey and introduced themselves, and that was really cool.
Glad to.
Yeah, it was.
Appreciate what you do for the scene.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate what you guys do. But it was just really cool to to get people to come out and say hey, I'm still kind of adjusting to this being recognized kind of thing and
Right.
stuff. I mean, or people. I'm sure people have seen me around for years. 'Cause I go to a lot of shows, but people are starting to know more from the podcast and everything else than seeing my name and face and everything. But it was really cool. But
Yeah.
then you guys, you guys mentioned Drake mentioned the acoustic show, and you guys did all your own originals that night, or
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
it was,
it was an all original acoustic set that
but
night.
it was tribute stuff set too from people, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of really good. Safety Third did Green Day.
They're also known as the Winks.
And
Yeah, they have their original band is the Wings. Safety Third is actually
They're
legitimately
Green Day
a Green Day cover band. They were fantastic too,
And then Silent Hollow did Incubus,
That was fun.
and Eurydice did System of a Down.
which was
Which was
also
really,
fantastic.
really, really good.
Yeah.
System of a Down is a really hard band to pull off. They actually Like, that was a band, like, I'd never seen them before, but I knew as soon as I saw System of a Down, I was like, this is either going to be really good or really bad, and they pulled it off really, really well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Sauget, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
We actually ran into like his friends and I guess managers at the mall one time when we were giving out tickets, like we were putting them up like in Hot Topic and everything, and we were in the food court, and then these women come up to us and they were like, "Oh, hey, we got some tickets. You guys want to go to the show?" And then we're just like, "Wait,
We just like,
we got some tickets too. You want to go to this?"
We just like reach in our back pockets. We're like, "Want to go to a free show?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey!"
Yeah, just this past weekend, I was at work and I had to come over. Like, I'm a supervisor at a retail store, and I walked over to one of my cashiers and I was helping her out with something. And I look over and I'm like, "Oh, it's these two same people again."
Yeah.
Keep running them everywhere.
Small world, man.
I just recorded with him
Yeah.
last week, so
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be airing soon.
Yeah.
And, or maybe already whenever you're listening to this.
True.
So
Yeah.
Hopefully already be out.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that was really great, man. He's a super talented guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit after the show. He was really cool. He's really down to earth and
Yeah.
humble, but he's definitely very, very good at what he does, for sure.
Yeah.
Very
It
talented.
was probably the same people. Somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, would you should check him out, get him on the show."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, yeah,
that's
I'm always down
probably
to meet somebody new and talk." And so that was I really wasn't real familiar before going to meet him, but I listened to all the stuff and I was like, "Wow, man, this is some great stuff." There's I really like his solo
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
With the piano.
Oh yeah, it was just like he's playing with the cigarette in his hand. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, the
dude,
whole
that's
time.
awesome.
Yeah.
The whole time he was
It's
up there
like-
on stage, I was looking at him, he just lit up a cigarette and was just smoking a cigarette and singing at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
like-
how the hell does that even happen?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's just like one of those poetic moments. I'm like, this is good.
Sure. Yeah. But
Don't smoke, kids.
Don't smoke. Vape instead.
Vape instead.
Live on the wild side. Vape instead. And everyone takes it of their vape.
So you guys will be back here January 15th at Pops. You will be playing with Inner Outlines, doing an acoustic set. Kai and the Odies,
Love those guys.
and they're going to be doing a tribute to Florence and the Machine, right?
Which is going to be very interesting.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
That's
I
going to
am.
be perfect.
It's
Love
good.
Florence and the
Yeah,
Machine.
they really are like
Yeah,
perfect
that's
for that.
Yeah. And then the Cinema Story, doing Newfound Glory.
Which I've actually not seen that band before,
Yeah,
so that's
I-
going to be fun.
I'm not familiar with them either. So.
Pretty cool.
And then you guys will be playing Disney songs.
playing
Oh, yeah.
classic Disney tunes.
Yeah,
Which,
that's
Yeah.
gonna be
which that was one of the big things picking that set was like what's gonna kind of set us apart from everybody else, from every other band that plays a tribute show. Like
Sure.
you expect to do a tribute show, they're like, okay, they're gonna do a tribute to a band they really like or that they can kind of are kind of similar sounding to and they all really can appreciate. And we're like, well, what can make us a little bit different but still kind of put us out just as much and really catch people's attention just as much. We thought let's do some classic Disney songs. Let's get people into it, get people
Yeah.
active, and
Well, I have a lot of questions about this. So,
Yeah.
so one, are you planning to keep them fairly close to the original sound, or you guys?
No.
You guys
not at all. No.
Simplify.
so they're gonna get
Punk goes
yeah,
Disney.
Yeah.
Pretty much the best way I can put it is we're going to be punkifying
All right.
all the songs, kind of making them sound more like us. The lyrics are going to be the same. It's just we're going to make it all sound more like we would.
And there are a few songs that sound closer to the originals than others, but there are some that you're barely going to recognize
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, hopefully you will. Though.
well, hopefully,
the point of a tribute
The
night.
thing with the Disney songs is it's something that everybody listens to. It's something everybody knows all the words to.
and if you don't, you're lying.
And if you don't, you are lying.
Yeah.
Shit, like half the band practices after practice, we go on Netflix and watch Mulan or
Yeah.
whatever we're feeling that day. So, it's something that everybody can relate to, and it's something that is kind of dear to our hearts. And
Sure.
it's going to be as much funny as it is serious, but it's going to be a good time.
We've got some surprises in store. Get ready.
True.
They was I don't know. I was trying to. You were saying how like some you'll recognize and things. I can't think of a good example right now, but there's some of those like where you hear a cover, and I'm like, man, I know the song. It's like
Right.
it's like it just hasn't clicked yet.
and it's like go through like the first verse, and then it hits that chorus, and you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
automatically you just
Right.
you're like, oh, I know where this came
but
from.
it's a
Yeah.
totally the different arrangement or take like I said, making it punk or whatever it might be, but something you're like you can recognize there's words, it clicks, you're like, but yeah, sometimes it just takes maybe a minute of listening to it for you get.
Yeah,
Get the
and
word.
that's kind of the feel that we're going for. Like, we want them to be close to the original, so where people will kind of recognize them.
Right.
We want them to be different enough to where, just like you were saying, like up through until the lyrics really kick in, you're really not going to be for sure of what song it is up until I start singing the words, and you're like, I know exactly what movie that's from.
Right.
I think it'll be cool to look out and see everyone just jamming out to Disney
Hopefully.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
because
sure.
because growing up, if you didn't watch classic Disney movies, then you didn't have a childhood. It was just one of those things. Like pretty much everybody watched Disney movies. It's just how it was. So.
It's not like the whole beginning
Watched
of the, like,
past tense, bruh.
I mean, in our situation, I mean, being 20 some odd years old and still watching Disney movies. Yes, there's
Dude,
no
I just-
age limit.
I just went out and bought the Incredibles today. No shame at all.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, I'm 30, and me and my wife we went to watch the Good Dinosaur the other when that came out and stuff. Like we go to a lot of those movies, for kids and stuff with it. Actually, the Good Dinosaur. I don't know. No spoilers here if you haven't seen it, but the
Dumbledore dies.
there's some very twisted stuff for a children's movie in that movie. Like there's a part where they like eat these berries and start doing like an acid trip, and it's pretty. I mean, for like a PG movie, like I was kind of surprised to see that. And then there's a part where the pterodactyls, like the evil character, and they like pick up this raccoon and like look at him, and he's got the big eyes and everything, real cute, and then he just eats it. And it's like there's stuff like that. It's like
I mean, it's
There's
one of
a
those things
couple
too. I
movies
mean,
like that,
even like back then though, like going back and watching some of the old Disney movies you loved as an adult. A lot of those movies are a lot darker than anybody remembers. Like I watched, what did I watch the other day? It was like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Oh,
that is a messed up movie.
The original story. Like if you go back to there's a lot of these things like circulating Facebook, and we'll talk about the original stories that these Disney movies are based on. They are so messed up.
Oh,
they're dark.
Everybody dies
real
in
dark.
most of them. Like
I
everybody.
mean, example Pocahontas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for real.
well, even lately, like Frozen, like it starts off both the parents die. So like it's
That
like, well,
original story is also
that's pretty
super
messed
dark.
up.
And like they're starting to like really like pretty blatantly incorporate those more adult themes into the kids' movies. It's like I don't know if a kid can really handle this sometimes.
But at the same thing, like at the same time, when you watched those movies as a kid, you didn't get the
As a little kid, it's like you go back at this age and you watch those movies, you realize all the references, and you're like, how did I miss this?
Right.
Yeah, it's a
Or
lot
like
more.
going back and watching Scooby Doo. That movie is so messed up.
Yeah, it is.
Mary Jane, that's like my favorite name. Shaggy being obviously a
Yeah.
stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes, Scoop.
Yikes, Scoob! I'm gonna stop that now.
Thank you.
So yeah, we don't want to give them all the, but you guys want to tease at anything in the set, or we want to keep it all surprise?
We're trying to keep some of it a surprise, but yeah. But
I mean, there's probably one thing that we could kind of tease a little bit. I mean, we can't leave them completely, totally hanging.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
we've got
all right.
we've got like 7 or 8 songs that we're gonna play. So it's like
Here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give one. Like this was actually kind of what made me want to. This is why I kind of like suggested this in the first place. A couple years ago, it was literally 2 years ago. Actually, I was playing a show at Pops with Eric, and I had an old band. And that show, like, my guitar, like, someone dropped my guitar and the headstock broke. And, and, like, it rendered the guitar pretty much unusable. And then I was also living in Arkansas at the time, and I was completely away from my friends and family, and I was all by myself. So I went back to Arkansas, and I was really bummed out, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be involved in music anymore. I just kind of get tired of it. And then my parents were coming down, because my dad worked in Arkansas at the time, and they were there for Christmas, and they're just like, okay, well, let's go see this movie. I'm like, I don't wanna. Well, it's got really great reviews. It's this movie called Frozen.
Yeah.
So I went out and saw it, And then as soon as Let It Go came on, I was like, I want to cover it. I want to do music. I love music. I want to cover this song. I love it. It's great.
Let It Go saved Nate's life.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Let
And
It
that
Go
is how
saved
Nate is a
Nate.
12-year-old
And that's
girl.
why he's also.
That is why I'm a 12-year-old girl.
He has a selfie stick like pumpkin spice.
Frozen.
Holding it on. Damn.
Nate, the true Let It Go underdog story.
Yeah,
right there.
so that's like that's going to be a song we're going to be covering because duh.
That's
And,
not
That's also kind of-
that's another one that we have really high expectations for because with as big of a movie as Frozen was whenever it first came out, and even still to this day, a lot of people are still going crazy about it.
Sure.
It's like
It's a very
like Let It
recent
Go
movie,
was
too.
like the big
Yeah.
song the year that movie came out, and
Yeah.
it's like
And
I
people
can
still
almost
sing it.
guarantee anyone who's going to be in that audience has heard that song at least once. And
Oh, yeah.
But
we
it's
can,
a
we can,
record.
we can expect we can expect heads to turn.
It's another one that, like, even until the Let It Go part comes in, I don't know what it is when they're playing it. Like, I'm not too familiar with it. So, like, the intro of it, I'm like, this
Yeah,
is a
the same
song.
thing.
All of a
And,
sudden
like-
they
like
go,
the-
Let It Go. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like the beginning riff that we're working on for it. Like,
Yeah, like, you
it's
don't
like you
know-
wouldn't
it
know
goes back
what
to
it
what you're saying, you
was
don't know
up
it's a
until
chorus, but it's
it
still-
hits that point.
still
So
there.
that's kind of the whole idea of it. Is
Yeah.
keep people guessing until it hits that point.
But we can't say anymore because we don't want to spoil it too
Yeah.
much.
Can't spoil too much. Got to leave you guys guessing, but
Yeah.
It's pretty dope, though.
Yeah,
I like it
Yeah.
a lot.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely intriguing. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I want to see how you guys are gonna pull this off and
Yeah.
and how it sounds because I think it'd be interesting to hear some classics punked up.
oh yeah.
But yeah, so let's start with a little backstory of the band. Get to know you guys because I just met most of you guys. So
Yeah.
but yeah, where did it all start?
Nate,
Well-
take it away.
Yeah, well, Eric and I had, like I said earlier, we played in an older band, and I left that band and moved on to another one, and then that one fell apart, and I was just like, okay, I really want to like start a band that we're going to take seriously and hopefully go somewhere with this. And then I just put a Facebook status up, and then Eric's like, I want in, and it was like, all right, man. So that was back in like 2012. So we've been kind of working at this for a while, and
Pizza.
we just got pizza. So,
Oh, here we go.
but
Now we're
yes,
truly
Bless.
pop on.
yeah. So, it was just like, okay, let's kind of start this band, and then eventually that was also like right before I moved to Arkansas, and I went to Arkansas, and I realized I want to be in a band again. So I moved back, and by that point, Drake had joined the band that I had left, and so we were like, okay, let's go ahead and start this band off. We're just like, all right, well, we need a singer, and Drake was like, well, I know a guy, and we're just like, okay, sure. So
How every conversation went.
Right.
yeah,
Word for word right there.
right. So we basically played this. We were playing this again. That was that old band. We were playing a show at the Mad Magician, and it was a
Rest in peace.
yeah, rest in peace. And we were playing this cover of Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, and because it's Limp Bizkit and Break Stuff, people obviously went buck wild.
Yeah.
And at midway through the song, we're kind of standing there. We look over out of the crowd, and there's this kid like on the ground, like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And they pull him over, and it was like, got a contusion, and that's how we met Fox.
That's how the story of I came to be.
I was at that show and I was behind him when it happened.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
somebody had accidentally knocked me into the mosh pit, and I got pushed back, and my back hit one of the pillars that was in that building, so I fell to the ground. And when you fall to the ground in mosh pit etiquette is pick their asses up off the ground and get them back on the floor. Well, some big burly dude came and picked me up, lifted me into the air. Well, I'm still in the mosh pit, so some dude comes from my left and just plows me while I'm in midair.
Yeah, it's
I go
on-
flying about like 10 feet and land straight down on my wrist, and I'm like, I cannot get up. I'm in so much pain.
Yeah, it was on video. It was pretty brutal. We got on video. It's brutal.
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah.
actually it's kind of funny that Nate mentioned that I joined the band and I was like, hey, by the way, I got a singer. Because the way that I met Fox was because I do some recording work too. I do all of our records, and I've done records for a couple other bands. And I had actually been doing a record for Fox's old band that he was actually drumming in, not singing. And Fox is a fantastic drummer, but he went to do some of the background vocals in that band and like harmonies and stuff. And I was just like, dude, like you're a better singer than your lead singer. Why aren't you the lead singer?
Yeah.
And that band was kind of in the process of falling apart as we were doing the record anyway.
It really was.
So kind of by the end of the record, I'd become good enough friends with him that I was just like, by the way, Fox, I'm recruiting you. You're my singer now. Yeah. And that shortly after, we kind of started a much heavier project than this. That just we never really found the members to really take anywhere, and I was kind of juggling both bands. And as the band that me and him were trying to start just wasn't really going anywhere. That's when it was kind of like, all right, well, I love this dude like a brother. This band, which turned out to be My Legacy, My Ghost, is actually like writing really good music, and we're doing something with it, and we have the work ethic. Like, and then that's kind of like where he kind of came in. Yeah. But it all started out, he was a drummer who didn't really want to sing. And I was like, awesome. We whipped him into shape.
Kind of reminds me of Greek Fire, with Phil playing guitar in Story of the Year. Like, he sang backup stuff, but like I never realized that guy can sing he can until Greek Fire hit, and
pipes, man.
That was I remember hearing about Greek Fire and being like, oh, that might be kind of cool. The Greek Fire in like a small venue before they really got big, that was one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I remember I don't know, whatever, 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, seeing so my cousin Adam like went to school with those guys. Used to play in the scene when those guys were coming up, like Big Blue Monkey and stuff like that. So anyway, he's known of Phil and Dan and Ryan for a long time, and he calls me up one day. He's like, "Hey, you want to go to a show?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah." And he goes, "It's over at Food Bar. It's Fuck Off and Dies and Greek Fire." And
love that band too.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's go." And so anyway, I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know either of the bands. This is early on, and we one of the first gigs. So it was pretty crazy to see that band and know now what everything. But at the time, like, I didn't even realize that was Dan and Phil and Ryan and all those guys. So like, but now now I've learned. But yeah, it's crazy to see what Greek Fire is doing now. Like that band is. They just sold out the pageant and stuff.
Right.
And,
it's crazy to see them come up from the local scene and blow up as big as they have. I mean, having a song in Big Hero 6.
Yeah, like Disney.
Right, like they've definitely worked quick and worked hard, and it's pretty impressive. It's an inspiring story, especially because the St. Louis scene is really the only people that really got to see them start from scratch.
Yeah. But yeah.
But another funny thing about the story, kind of like of our origins.
Yeah.
The one thing that I can always remember about us is, all of us, with all of us, music has always been our passion. It's always been, like, growing up, especially I can speak for myself, saying music has always been a big thing for me. Like, I started to get into music when I was a little kid, and I would like march to my mom singing, and she knew like I was going to end up being a musician. But music's always been a passion for all of us, so we've been trying to be in bands for as long as we can remember. And there was one show that I remember playing with one of my old bands way back in 2012. It was like the very first show that we had ever played with my old band. And it was just a little show that just some of the local guys just put together at a sportsman's club where like right by where we live.
Like M-Town?
Yeah, the M-Town
M-Town
Showdown. I remember.
Yeah, all of us played in a different band then.
Yeah, right. That was it. Like, we got there and we played the show, and one thing I always look back at, because I didn't realize it until now that I'm friends with them and bandmates with them and pretty much family with them, is that each one of us, out of like the 6 bands that played that night, all 4 of us, me, Eric, Drake, and Nate, all played in different bands at that same show.
Yeah,
so we were all in that same building, all playing the same, like, that same venue. Well, quote unquote venue.
Yeah.
But we were all there under that same roof, and none of us really knew each other. Some more than others. Like, I know Nate and Eric knew each other well and all that, but it was really weird just looking back at that now, being in a band with all these guys. Like, we were all under a roof together in the same room, not really knowing each other.
And that was like a solid 3 years before we got together.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
Well,
and the biggest problem with starting to try to start a band, that makes sense in my head.
The hardest part about starting a band.
Yes, that one. The hardest part about starting a band that you actually want to go somewhere is there's so many people that you play with that may be fantastic musicians that don't necessarily have the drive to really want to do it for a living or to do it, take it as far as they can.
It's like trying to find the members that really want to do it for the rest of their lives and want to put that kind of effort into it.
This is the first band we've been in all of us collectively weeding out the people that didn't want to do it, and it's been a 5-year process for most of us.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a group of people that really actually want to do it and have the drive and the work ethic.
About finding the charisma between the people.
Yeah.
Like that chemistry. And I mean,
and that was one of the big things, like I said, like about the origin of like My Legacy, My Ghost. Like right after the incident where we all finally met and started playing together, I started going over to Nate's house, and we would just go up into his room. He would plug his guitar in. He would print off the lyrics to some of the songs that he had worked on, and I would just start learning them, and I'd just start singing, and he'd play, and that was probably a several month process.
Yeah, it was several months, and then what happened was, up until recently, my parents were actually living in India, and I went over there for like 3 weeks, and I guess while I was gone, everyone's like, we need to start doing stuff. So like pretty much, I get back, and about 6 seconds later, we're back in my basement setting up, making a practice studio. And we're just kind of looking at each other. It's like, well, let's actually, work on this band. Let's start doing stuff.
Yeah. So it wasn't really until I would say about maybe like January of this year that everything really got like settled and started going.
Yeah.
And finding the members again, like I said, is another really big thing. But within the time that he was gone for what, like 3 weeks?
Yes,
you were
3
gone.
weeks.
Yeah, and within that time, I was just like, we need to really get this ball rolling if we want this to become something. You got to look at it like a business. It's like if we want this to be something, we have to work at it.
Yeah.
So it's like finding all the members and starting the work was the big thing.
Yeah.
So we all just started going out trying to find the members, trying to get everybody in, and we originally had Eric come in and try and play bass for us at one point, and it was just trying to find the members to actually do it, and eventually we finally got a steady lineup as of like January, a little after he'd gotten back, and then the work just started.
Along came the Weaver,
and then the Weaves came, and that's
awesome.
We should talk about Sam's involvement too a little bit, because our original bass player, we love him and he's awesome, and the only reason that he left the band is sadly he had about a week after he got an apartment because his mom moved to Colorado for work. One of the neighbors in his apartment left their space heater against the wall, and it burned the entire apartment complex down.
Entire complex to the ground. It was like 5 or 6 rooms within that apartment. Everything.
He pretty much ran out, grabbed his backpack with his medicine and his shoes and his bass and amp. Yeah, his bass.
Well, his bass was in my house.
And his bass and amp was actually at the practice space, and that was pretty much all he had to his name. So he moved back to Colorado. Because he wasn't making enough money to buy a bed, pay rent on another apartment.
It was one of those big things. He had to make that choice for himself. Like it wasn't okay, I have nothing left here, I'm going to go. Like he had us in mind as well, because he was a good member of the band for the time that we had him. It's just like with him going away, we totally understood and respected him leaving because he's got to do what's best for him, especially. With him only being 22 years old, it's like he's got to get out, he's got to live his life, and right now, in the situation that he was in, he didn't have anything.
So, and that's, and the thing about when we were trying to find another bass player is that the hardest part about, we even thought about not trying to find another bass player because the band members we have now have so much charisma and love for each other, and we are family. Our biggest worry was that we were going to find somebody who was an awesome bass player that we didn't love as much as we already loved each other. So it was
homosexuals.
We're homosexuals. But no, it's for real though. It was really nice. Weaver was actually filling in for bass in the other band that Nate and Eric used to play in. And I filled in for guitar for that band because the singer and guitar player really didn't want to play guitar. He just wanted to sing. And we met Weaver, and me and Eric hung out with him, and we were like, this is a cool dude. Like, we could get behind this. We asked him to fill in for one show, and he worked harder.
May I add, the hardest working dude
you've ever met.
High five. This guy.
This dude learned our set in, like, a week flat.
He learned how to play bass 3 months before we even, a month before we even played the other band. He learned how to play bass. He never, and he's already come so far, and he's every time I think about it, it blows my mind. How you can
gonna make me blush.
And that's the big thing is, we want to do this for a living, and we have a work ethic and a drive, and that was something we really saw in Weaver is, he works harder than, most all of us, and completely, like, blew us away way more than we were expecting.
Yeah.
To learn an entire set in a week and be able to play it on stage when you've only been playing the instrument for less than 6 months, it was pretty damn impressive.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, but looked like you were wanting to say something there.
Oh, no. I mean, I wasn't going to cut you off.
I do want to say really quick, thank you. That was really nice.
You're welcome.
I feel
only saying it because he's in the room. No, but for real though, you put a lot of work and a lot of effort into it, and we couldn't be more grateful for the effort that you put in.
Well,
for
thank
it.
you. I'm happy to be here.
You've come a long way in a
and
little bit amount of time.
Just the last thing I want to say, and this is more as like a general thing, especially to anybody who's listening that might want to start a band. To me, it's a lot more important to play with people that you love and get along with than it is to play with fantastic musicians. Because you will always practice and get better in your instrument. If you find someone that you get along with, that you mesh well with, that you can hang out with, that you can see yourself living on a tour bus with, they're going to be better in a month, let alone 6 months, let alone 2 years, than they are now. So that's not really the thing to worry about, really, I think, especially in punk rock where you don't know how to play your instrument anyway.
Accurate.
As we said, played badly. Anyway.
When you were mentioning about being all under the same roof and all that story, just this I guess the last week or whatever it was, I saw like the Facebook memories or whatever time hop kind of thing, but like two years ago I went to a show out in Wentzville where I live and it was Silent Hollow, Divide the Empire, Still Line, and Molehill, and I just went because it was a great rock show in my own hometown, which rarely happens because we don't have a venue or anything out there. So it was just these guys came in and played this bar, but to see that and not I didn't know any of those guys then, but now fast forward 2 years, I've had Divide the Empire and Silent Hollow on my show, and Divide the Empire and Silent Hollow become good buddies of mine too. It's but when I recorded with Divide the Empire first, and I was talking about that show. Well, the first time I remember hearing their name, and I said something about it, and I couldn't think of the fourth band on that bill when I was on the podcast, and so a little later I become friends with the guys at Silent Hollow. Drake's like, "Hey man, we were the fourth band on that show." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh man, sorry," And he's like, "I guess I guess you didn't remember us. We probably weren't that memorable or whatever it was." So I was like, "Oh, and I'm sure I just forgot." But anyway, I realized through all that too on Facebook, I realized I didn't get there till 11 o'clock because I had to work. So I got there late. So I'm sure I missed their whole set completely. But to know that I walked into the building and all those guys were in the same room, and now they've become some of my best buddies. It's pretty wild to how it all comes full circle. How we all music brings us back together.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like we were saying earlier, we love Silent Hollow now, and actually Eric and I, we know the drummer of Divide the Emperor, Keith. He's a great dude.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I like all those guys a lot. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, back when the band was first starting, over like pretty much a year ago, is about last January, Eric was actually originally going to play bass, and Keith from Divide the Empire was thinking about drumming.
Yeah,
he
came
us.
out and jammed, but I mean, because Divide the Empire was like, because they're working on their album and stuff. He's like,
didn't want to take the time for two bands, which is
totally
admirable. Like, I wouldn't want to divide time away from this band. So I
divide.
Pun
number one, strike one.
Oh dear God! Now it's starting.
Anyway,
Well, let's talk about your. You guys put out this EP. A little bit ago.
Yeah.
Keep your secrets.
Yeah. So I guess you recorded most of the stuff, Drake?
Yeah, it was pretty much all done in my basement with a decent amount of crappy recording gear. I did go to school for audio engineering, and I worked in one of the bigger studios in St. Louis for a while, and realized that it was 70 hours a week of work for very little money.
Yeah.
And decided I couldn't really work in like a big facility like that. But I've got my own hodgepodge of stuff at home, and I love doing it. I absolutely love recording, and you know, I've done our band, I've done a couple other bands, but it was really just, you know, a love effort. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah.
we're a bunch of broke kids that hadn't played enough shows to have any money yet. And,
sure.
Still a bunch of broke kids with no money.
well, we're still we haven't come anywhere from that, but it's nice that I have enough stuff to do it at home, because it would be pretty expensive to do it anywhere else.
Yeah, I've talked to, you know, over the span of this show several times about it, but it's pretty wild that you know we have access to the equipment to do it, a fairly, you know, solid recording at home or for, you know, rather inexpensive compared to what it used to cost to put records together and things
absolutely. Doing drums is still the most difficult part, because you need a ton of mics, you need a ton of mic pre's, you need a ton of inputs.
Yeah, you need a nice room.
Well, and you need a nice sounding room, and having a good drummer helps.
Thanks, Eric.
But no, it's amazing. I mean, even 10 years ago, if you wanted to set up a home studio 10 or 15 years ago, you would be spending probably $10,000. You'd be on ADATs. You wouldn't have hardly any editing capability. You know, with modern computers, you can spend $500 and make a good sounding record.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous if you have the skills. It's absolutely skills over technology nowadays,
Sure.
without a doubt.
So you guys have was it six songs?
Yeah,
6 song EP. And all available on Bandcamp.
Yep,
and
download for free.
Yeah, it's pay what you want, which means put in $0 and take it home, because we don't care.
Well, we do, but please enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't care about the money, especially at this point when we're not making any money anyway. It's definitely more. We care more about people hearing it than people paying for it, without
definitely.
a doubt.
I think a lot of people are on that same kind of vibe where you more or less just want to get it to as many people as you can. I mean, you know, if you can make a couple bucks along the way, that's great. But you're more or less, if you can make a fan, that's even more important.
Right.
Oh, exactly. And that's how it's been like with our merch. Like, we have download cards we give away at our shows, and same thing is pay what you want. If you want to take one, take one. If you know, we've had people come up and give us like $5 for a download card before. It's like you literally can walk up to the table and just grab a card and walk away, and we'd be completely happy that you're walking away getting to listen to the music. But the fact that we've had a couple people come up and actually give us more money than we would have expected for one is like, it's like, you know, you have the option to just take it for free, but you're literally going to pay us for it. Like that really shows that you want to support us and everything. You really enjoy us and everything. That really hits home for all of us.
Yeah,
it really shows what we're doing is really worth it.
The other thing I would like to say, and this doesn't really have a lot to do with that, but it's a funny little tidbit for any of the people listening. Not to say pay more, by all means pay less, take it for $0, but if somebody actually pays us less than $1 or $1 or less for our record on Bandcamp, we actually get no money, because the entire $1 is taken in taxes.
So
if you would
don't pay $1, pay more or $0. That's
and by all means pay $0. Like, I'm not bitching and complaining. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to pay $1? No, just take it for free. Just go ahead and screw iTunes while you're at it. Like, I just thought that was hilarious. I saw that the other day. Somebody paid $1 for our single Cherry Blossoms, and it was like 75 cents went to Bandcamp. There was like an 11 cents tax on this and like a 14 cents tax on this.
And there was nothing left.
So you made You made $0.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But, okay.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
It is pretty crazy. Like some of the figures and how they break it down, like, you know, Spotify and stuff, and how like what they pay artists compared to what where all the money goes and things.
Yeah, that's actually part of the reason we're not on iTunes yet, and we're actually working on that. It probably will be kind of soon, but on average, through a label, if you put your music on iTunes, if somebody pays $1 for something, you usually see about 3 cents of it, give or take.
Sure.
So
sad state.
Yeah.
I was at a show the other night to see Will Hogue, one of my favorite singer-songwriters, and he was doing like a solo. He did some stuff acoustic, but he also played a little electric. But it was all, he just did it by himself. He usually plays with a band, but this time he was doing a storytelling tour, and he some girl's phone goes off in the middle of one of his songs, and it was actually his song, which was it was weird, you know. Like, well, it wasn't the same song, but it was Will's voice, and she cut it off pretty quick, but it was enough of it to where you recognized that it was Will, and so somebody yells, Will stops the song, and kind of just looks at her like, you know, what was it, you know, because obviously it's like super quiet in there. It was really obvious, and then this guy goes, "Whoa, is it making it any better that it was your song?" And he goes, "Well, it depends on if she bought it or if she stole it." And she goes, she goes, "Well, she bought it," and he's like, "Okay, well, that's fine then." And it's like, and he's like, "Well, that's what threw me off, was like I thought it was my song, because, you know, you could recognize his own voice, obviously, but that was it was just a funny moment." But I think that's the ringtones, though. I think for whatever reason, I think artists make more off of ringtones than the song.
I think I remember reading that somewhere, actually.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I mean, they don't make money regardless.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's all about... Basically, bands now are just glorified T-shirt retailers.
For the starving artist club.
Yeah.
Right. We've accepted the fact that we're going to be dirt poor forever. That's okay.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
But I was listening, and like I said, when I seen you guys live hearing the songs, I enjoyed them then. But I was listening on the band camp and rocking out on the way down here and stuff. And is it? It's the Great Pariah.
The Great Pariah, yeah.
Yeah, Pariah.
Or Palette of a Tortured Artist, yeah.
Yeah, but I really dig that one. Just especially, like, I don't know. I think a lot of it. Like your the singing like, you know, the tempo, like, or whatever the pattern you're singing and like that, like I don't know, it just gets catchy. It's like,
yeah, there's a good portion of that song that's just really like rhythmic and spitty and like almost like, I don't want to say rappy, but kind of has like that rhythm tone to it, where it's almost a percussive vocal.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
really
actually
cool.
well, I mean, just one thing like conceptually about the song that I'm really proud of. It just it comes off like with this kind of swagger not that some of our other songs don't really have,
right.
And maybe not in a bad way, but it just comes off with that vibe. And it's like, and me as a writer, I'm like, I've never written anything like that before. That's really cool.
All right.
And also, it's just kind of funny because at the same rhythm, I realized you can also dance along doing Gangnam Style voice writing.
So you Nate, write the lyrics?
Yeah, most of it. There's
'cause I noticed when your guys are performing, Fox, you know, singing, but you also sing and stuff, and I'm like, but I don't know, it just I mean, not that it wouldn't have to either way, but I kind of felt like the way you were like mouthing all the words along too, like that there are songs that, you know, I mean, obviously you guys would know the songs so that you've been playing the song, but just kind of,
even before you saying that, I kind of felt like that you might have wrote these songs or had at least a part in it or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
very personal.
Well,
I mean, the songs mean a lot to me because a lot of people don't really know this, but the EP is actually a concept EP, and it's going to be kind of followed up whenever we record our second one. It's actually going to be kind of a continuation of that, and it's the songs are basically it's a concept about coping with and depression. Disclaimer: I don't suffer from that anymore, but they mean a lot, and that's one thing that as a writer I kind of really hope to do is. My goal at the end of the day is if I can change one person's life from a song I've written, then it just blow my mind.
Yeah, man.
The goal is just connect with someone, and it's one thing like while my struggles are my own, like I kind of try to take the songs and like write them like in a way that someone will be able to kind of like make it relatable to them, and it's of course they're deeply personal to me, and I try to convey that to other people.
I do want to add to that. If you know what's good for you, connects with me a lot, and so I think that's why I really like that song. That's probably my favorite one to listen to and play live. Honestly,
glad to hear that.
It became one of my favorites to play live.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
such
so
a simple
fun.
song, but it's so hard to
I
rock
wasn't a
out.
fan of it, but now I love it.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize or know if they don't know the band personally is, we've been playing in this band for close to about a year as far as getting together, working on the record, doing whatever. But a lot of these songs, and really the whole band's concept in general, has been Nate's baby for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
I remember
a lot, not all the songs, but a fair chunk of the songs that we have written, those we've recorded and those we haven't recorded yet, Nate wrote 2, 3, 4 years ago, and we just kind of took him out of the box and dusted him off and put some production on him.
Yeah.
Well,
but a lot of the lyrics and a lot of the music has been written for a very long time, and that's pretty much entirely Nate's doing.
Yeah, like one of our big songs that we have that I noticed people have been getting into recently is Red Lotus. And that was probably the one, if I'm correct, that's the one that's really been around the longest, and that's kind of been, that was like one of the ones that we worked on way back in the day when I first started with him. And it was one of those things, like with him, just like he was saying, he wrote it 3, 4, 5 years ago, and now, you know, I remember as soon as we got done recording it and like we listened to it, just the look on his face was just like God. Ecstatic and just like awe-inspiring, just like you couldn't even believe the look in his eyes, just finally hearing it all come together. And
no, and kind of on that note, I don't think I ever told you guys about this. And it's going to make me look like a righteous wimp, but
oh God, here we go.
Oh, we don't need any more of that.
Well, we were like earlier this year was one of our first kind of quote unquote shows we played was at this talent show, and in order we hadn't, Eric was away at school, and we couldn't have the band come in to kind of show him what we're capable of. So we're just like, okay, well let's start recording now, and we basically started recording the song that's now Invisible, like 3 days before we went in to take it to this group to listen to. They're the people who decide if we can play the talent show or not, and we show it to them, and like their jaws just drop. And on the entire car ride there, like everyone else in the car was just screaming along to the lyrics, and it was so relieving because I'm like, I've had these lyrics stuck in my head for a couple years now, and to hear other people going like singing what's been going on in my head, it was just mind blowing. And
I had almost forgotten about that too.
Yeah,
we didn't have the band to try out for the talent show, so we had to record a song in like 2 days. It was like 2.5 days.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 days. But anyway, so we go in there and we come back and we slept over at Drake's house that night. And I was just crying on the couch because I'm like, oh my God, it's happening!
Like,
yeah,
and
I'm a basic white girl.
Same thing that he was kind of saying. That's been one of the really big moments for me, like as a vocalist. Like, you know, obviously, like I said, this is my first time really being a vocalist in a band. I've, you know, made big strides in it. I know everybody's been, you know, praising me on how well I've been doing, and I've been, I've been taking the steps to get better and better and better as time goes by. And one of the big things with me, it's always been, is exactly like you said, with Invisible has kind of become, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like, well,
it's one of the most anthemic songs on the
it's pretty much, it's like the most known song.
Yeah,
right now. Like everybody really gets into it, everybody really loves it. And one of the big things with me was the last show we played when we played the final round.
The finale of
the Road to Point Fest, you know, even though it was like all of our friends and everything who were up there in the front, still I looked down at them as I was singing, and I almost had a tear roll down my face because I saw all of them were singing along with me, and even like my girlfriend who I just showed the song like a week before, she was singing all the words to me. I'm like, how the hell do you even know these words? But it's just like it almost made me like tear up a little bit because like this is what I really want. I want to look out into a crowd. I want to hear people singing my songs. I want to see, you know, all these looks on people's faces when I see them actually singing the lyrics of, you know, these songs that we've been working on. It just, you know, it gives you some real like euphoria almost. Like this is what we've been working for.
It feels so good. It's so gratifying just to see it.
Like, I think
it's the best feeling, honestly.
I think anybody who's in a band can relate that there is no better feeling in the world than watching other people sing your songs.
Oh, it's so
like
good.
there's nothing like
even
it.
my buddy Austin, who was at that same show, like, I didn't even know that he knew the words, and I was up there singing it, and he was right down in front of me, and I was down singing it to him, and I just gave him like a high five. I'm like, dude, I'm so proud of you for knowing these words. Like, that's my guy right there. So it's just, like I said, it's just a real feeling of euphoria, just to look out and just see everyone singing the words to your song. It's like, this is really hitting home. This is really like I said, this is what we're doing this for. It's like trying to get the message out to people, get the music out to people, and just seeing how many people really enjoy it and everything is like. It almost like just gives you the shakes with how happy you are about it. It's like,
I wanted to ask a couple of questions to help kind of get some character, some personality out there about you guys and get to know you guys a little better. But let's go around the room. I know you guys haven't thought about these, but whoever wants to start. And but what was your first concert you guys remember?
That we went to or that we played?
That you went to as a fan.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Got Trade with Rise Against.
Oh, jealous. That was
I
was spoiled my first show.
That was a good one, yeah.
I went to Avenged Sevenfold. on my first show.
Yeah.
With Ghost and Deftones.
I was at that show. That was
Really?
one of the first shows I ever went to. The first show I ever actually saw, and I actually don't remember which came first. I really don't. But a long time ago, like my dad was like really big into 80s hair metal, like that he grew up in that scene, so that's kind of what I grew up on. Was like even going back further, like Led Zeppelin, but a lot of like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and stuff.
Yeah.
And my first 2 concerts were Ozzy and Bon Jovi, and I think I saw Bon Jovi first, but I really don't remember.
Living on a prayer, man.
Yeah,
those are some good ones.
which
guys.
is hilarious because Nate hates 80s anything.
I hate 80s anything, but I love Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Just those
Okay.
like 2 songs,
Good
but
man.
I love Bon Jovi.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and again, that's another one of the things that we can touch on. Like, it's cool seeing just the variety of music that we all
Sure.
like at the same time. Because coming around to me, I didn't even get to say mine. My first concert I ever went to was the Monster Outbreak tour in like 2013. It was like headlining As I Lay Dying and Asking Alexandria. And it had Attila and Icy Stars and Memphis May Fire, and
Such a good one.
Suicide Silence was supposed to play it, but that was like 3 weeks after Mitch had died, so they didn't get to play it. But my very first show was like a really hardcore metal show. And we got Foo Fighters and Rise Against and Ozzy and all that stuff. It's like you can see there's all different kinds of musical styles, which I love about us.
Yeah.
No, well, okay. I don't know what counts or not. My first show I ever went to was some kind of free Christian concert that they had in Colorado. I was like, whatever. No, first kind of festival was Point Fest back in 2009, which was cool. That was actually, I think, one of the first performances Greek Fire ever had.
Yeah.
There was that. My first real show at a venue was seeing Sick Puppies play here at Pops.
Was that the
It was
Triple
with
Threat one?
with Seether
Yeah.
and
King?
Young Guns and King, yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually got to meet King earlier that day. It was cool.
I
But
was
yeah,
at that show.
yeah,
I
Sick-
remember that because I wasn't there, but I remember you came home and immediately tried to get me addicted to Young Guns.
yeah. Oh, Young Guns are
Which you succeeded, by the
Yeah.
way. I just
they
want to
were
make a note
amazing.
of that.
And that it was actually while I was watching Young Guns when I just kind of looked up there. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to play that. I want to be that. I want to be that person up there on stage playing out to or playing these other people.
I thought that show was very interesting because, like I said, it was the Triple Threat tour. It was the fact that they were all 3-piece bands.
Except Young Guns.
Well, yeah, but it was like co-headline bill with Seether, Sick Puppies, and King, and the fact that they're all trio. So that was pretty interesting. So
one thing I also thought was really funny about that tour is they're all from different countries. You had the UK, the US, South Africa, and then Australia.
Australia, yeah.
But other than that, my first set of shows, because really I started going to a lot of local shows first. One of my favorite bands ever called You're Not Complamo.
Yeah.
They were some friends of
I mean,
ours.
if they count, they're probably before Rise Against the Foo Fighters. But.
Yeah, they're just one of those local bands. We see them play at people's houses, and that's what made me want to be in a band in the first place. So
my first show that I recall, wanting to go to and asking my mom to get tickets. It was 97. It was Matchbox 20, Soul Asylum, and Semisonic at Scottrade. So
That's cool.
which I loved. I love Matchbox 20, that early stuff that that they put out, and still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You guys, what do you guys have a favorite movie?
Fight Club.
Well,
We don't talk about that.
we don't talk about Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club.
You know what the second rule is?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Good man.
Yeah, well, most of us actually, sorry Weaver, went out and saw The Force Awakens last night, so...
Yeah.
Weaver's over here getting salty. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, we got home at 3, and I had to go to work at 8. That was a good time. It was totes worth it, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite movie right now. It kind of just it depends on when you ask me what day of the week it is.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the same thing with me. I grew up on Star Wars, so the Star Wars movies take a pretty close to my heart on my favorite movies. But I think another thing from my childhood, my favorite movies of all time, although they were kind of butchered over time, but the Transformers movies. I love the Transformers movies. About the first 3 specifically. The rest of them kind of just eh.
Yeah.
But
if you had to ask me recently, which is all I could give you, would probably be Guardians of the Galaxy.
which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so I screamed out the Fight Club.
You want to retract that comment?
No, I don't want to retract it. My problem is I have 3 favorite movies, and it changes depending on the day. So I have to make honorable mentions. It's usually depending on the day. It's either Fight Club, Boondock Saints, or The Crow.
Sorry, dude. Boondock. I did not like Boondock Saints.
How do you not like Boondock?
You would be right, except for the fact that you're wrong.
There's like no plot.
Yes, there is.
So?
Yeah, there is a plot.
They're just vigilantes. They just go around shooting stuff.
It was great.
You can take a crew off.
You should see the second movie.
What more do you need?
Right, like
Exactly.
Oh, you're one of those guys that likes Taken.
I like a lot of different stuff.
okay.
I like
Liam
Taken.
Neeson was Qui-Gon Jinn and Aslan and Zeus. He was a god in 2 religions. Why would you try to kidnap his daughter?
Right? But, Eric,
I'd
what's your...
say mine's probably The Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, old
My man. Yeah.
Mafia. I love those movies. They're so good. Like crime. I like the mafia.
Those movies
Okay,
are...
Eric, I love you. Nate, I love you.
Okay.
I've never seen The Godfather.
Oh, dude, you need to watch. It's just
We're
such a
fixing
good
that.
movie.
All right, so
All
I know what
3
we're
of
doing
them.
tonight.
It's like 9 hours of just
Of amazing.
awesome.
It is. It's
Well, until the
beautiful.
second
Al
one. It's like
Pacino's,
9 hours.
first big role.
It's like 6 hours of amazing, and then 3.5 hours of lukewarm coolness.
yeah, it's a lot of like I don't know. It's a lot of off time, but the stuff that like leads up, like the planning going like
Oh,
the
it's
hit or
just-
something, it's just so good. Like I don't
Such a
know.
good movie.
We are watching Godfather. Now I want to watch Godfather.
Yeah.
We're doing it. It's
I'm
happening.
not even mad. Can we eat pizza while we watch The Godfather?
Yes.
Bro, date.
Yes.
Brother.
Let's make it happen,
You
please.
You already forced me to watch that. Come on.
Yeah, we still haven't finished.
Honorable mention, Big Team 6, the
Big Hero 6?
But yeah, Big Hero
Yeah.
6. I got
Big Hero 6.
That's
La la la.
Baymax is
Exactly.
my hero.
Harry
He's my
Harry, baby.
But yeah, what's yours? Favorite?
So the last question I wanted to ask is like, which I'd hopefully be able to answer. But what would be a song that you guys wish you wrote?
Oh
think
God,
about
don't
this
do
every
this
day.
to me.
Oh
There's
no!
so
you
many.
can't.
Okay. Most
Are we
recent-
talking financially or creatively?
Just one, yeah, creatively.
Oh.
One that sticks to you, like that really speaks to you guys. that
Okay,
you-
That's a good question.
Actually, I was
Can I
thinking
go
about this
first?
the other day. Recently, and it was Monster Eats Manhattan, the Legacy You Leave EP. I love that EP. And there were several songs on listen to it. I'm like, God, I wish I did that.
Yeah.
Like their cover of "I Just Died in Your Arms." That's amazing to me. I love that. That whole EP is just great. And then oh geez, it could be like anything in Rise Against discography.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could definitely hear that in some of the music we
Yeah,
play.
they
Like
just-
Pariah especially, you can
Yeah.
really hear a lot of the Rise Against
Yeah, they don't
influences.
write a bad song.
Yeah.
So it's like
They
any
really
song.
don't.
Any song in their discography, it could be that, or anything off the Monsters Manhattan.
Like recently, I think that like Bring Me the Horizon, the song Sleepwalking.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That I don't know, that song just clicks with me for some reason. Like
Yeah.
I wish I could be that genius with vocal or like lyrics or whatever.
Oh yeah. One that we were actually just jamming just for shits and giggles right before we came here. I honestly really wish that we would have wrote "If It Means a Lot to You" by Dan.
Yeah.
It's just
The Weaver's like, he took my answer.
just the lyrics of
I
that
actually
song, the
wasn't gonna
feel of
say
that
that.
song. Just I love the male-female split in it. Just everything about it. Just it hit again. I've been using this term the whole time, but it really hits home for me. It's one of those songs.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear it, it's just like I'm relaxed. It's like I feel it inside.
It's a
of me.
song that just feels good, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a nice acoustic
Weaves,
song.
because I'm still thinking.
I would if I absolutely had to pick one, because I can go back and like sing like one that I really wish and one that's more recent. But if I had to pick one, I would say "You Should Have Killed Me When You Had the Chance" by Dan Remember.
Yeah.
That's a song that I just listened to and I'm like, so good.
Yeah.
Oh God, Eric, your turn.
I already won.
Oh no,
Just say a Led Zeppelin song.
my feels. I should probably say a Led Zeppelin song.
Beartooth.
Oh, Bear.
Oh God,
There's so many.
See, I really
you're
like
just messing with my emotions right
like
now.
as soon as he asked this question, we all like perk up like, oh shit.
I was so that's a good question.
What is it?
Star-crossed enemies.
Yeah, all the new Ice Nine Kills.
that whole
All of it.
album.
The whole album.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think by Take Back
probably,
Sunday.
just because I grew up with so much classic rock. God, this is really hard. Just because, like, one song...
Oh, I thought of more, too. God.
Don't say them, I'll start crying.
No.
Me too, man.
Well, no. Okay, the reason I say this is... when I lived in Florida, I was at a hockey game, and I heard this song come on, like, through the bleachers, and it was probably, like, I was only, like, 12 at the time. It was the
Can we
first
just take
time...
a second just to process the fact that he said, when I was at a hockey game in Florida, that's a sentence you don't hear every day.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Hockey
Anyway.
is awesome, and Florida is equally awesome. So, yeah, I used to live in Miami. But hearing this song, like, played through the big-ass loudspeakers in the hockey stadium and hearing a bunch of people sing along was the first time in my life that music ever gave me literal, like, actual goosebumps. And it was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses.
Great song.
Yeah, man.
Not a bad song.
It's not. I wouldn't go anywhere so far as to say that it is my favorite song, but just remembering, like,
Just that moment.
feeling that in that moment just makes me, like, be like, oh, God, why couldn't I have been the one to cause that in someone else, you know?
Right.
I saw Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators
Yes.
in Springfield. My friends, Exit 714, got to open for them down there. Foxy Shazam was also on the bill.
Who I've seen live, and they are amazing.
Yeah, they're one of the wildest live shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Slash was flicking picks out at the end of the night, and like one like hit me in the chest, and then I like stomped on it, and so I caught a Slash pick, and I gave it to my friend Cortland of Exit 714, and who Slash is like his idol, why he plays guitar and stuff. So it meant more to him than me. But it was pretty cool just to be there. And then maybe a year later, I guess they played the pageant, and I went to that show again. And I got to meet Slash out back and got his autograph and stuff. So
Drake's over here
it was
leering.
pretty cool.
Yeah, a little salty.
So,
a little
yeah.
salty.
Hey, remember that time I got to meet Butch Vig?
Little salty. Hey, remember that time that I got to meet Caleb Shomo from Beartooth?
I don't like Beartooth.
Remember that time that we were at a house party in Nashville with like 30 people?
Okay,
tacked into a
you may have
10-person
ended
room?
up like yes,
their
Beartooth
Facebook.
did post.
Yeah, they actually. Beartooth has a picture on their Facebook page from that show, and it's just me and Caleb just like. It was probably one of the best moments of my life.
That's badass.
I'm so jealous.
We drove down to Nashville and Tennessee to see Beartooth because they were playing at like a house party. It was Beartooth in a room like smaller than this, and they were packed into the corner with like a really shitty PA system, and like it was like balls to the wall. Like,
Crazy.
God forbid you have to go to the bathroom because you are not going to move an inch.
All right.
Yeah.
We weren't
And
allowed to
shit like
jump
that.
at the show because apparently the floor had collapsed once before. So they were like, no up and down, just side to side, just side to side. That was one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was a couple years ago when I was actually we were seeing this band like I was talking about, You're Not Kablamo. It was in one of those settings where everything was so packed, and it was just like
Every show.
yeah. Well, it got to the
Wait,
point
was,
where like
was that basement show where everyone was taking their shirts off?
yeah, like
Yep.
people like took their shirts off. Like it was hot and sweaty. There was no
Crowd
air
surfing.
conditioning. People got
Oh,
electrocuted.
that's disgusting.
People were throwing up, and it was like the hottest thing that it was like hotter than hell. There was condensation on the vents on the ceiling. It was insane.
I love it.
But those kind of shows are the best.
It was
that was
such
why
a
I loved
good time.
ITR. ITR was
Oh,
this
man.
little tiny venue. Like the whole venue was like the size of this room.
yeah.
And there was like no AC, lots of lights. It was 200 degrees all the fucking time. You never would have expected it to be as much fun to play as it was. But when you can put 20 people in a room and it's packed and
That
you're
feels so good.
playing and it's 200 degrees and you're sweating and you can barely hold on to your instrument, like that was the most fun place I've
Yeah,
ever
no,
played.
some of my favorite shows were at ITR. It's actually it was down the street from that place you're at in Belleville.
Everything
Oh,
was
okay.
too loud. You couldn't hear anything.
Couldn't
that was
hear
going
anything.
on.
Mixing was terrible.
Yeah.
Bands had no clue what they were doing too.
What's it, a
It was
candle
so
shop
fun.
now?
Yeah, no, I was actually passing by that today. It's like some arts and crafts store, which is so not
That's
punk.
That's beautiful.
Drake, we need to buy RTR back.
I would happily buy ITR back. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and that's
Punkify.
another one of those big things. Like when you play shows like that, if we ever get the chance to play that, like hell yeah, I'm gonna play that
Oh,
show
yeah.
because when you play little shows like that where people are packed wall to wall, front to back, you're squishing together.
Yeah.
Like God forbid you have to go to the bathroom, you can't move, you're so tight in. Like those are the shows that you really like to play.
Oh my God, those
because
shows are so
you know, I mean, we could be playing the pageant and we'd have a lot of fun, but playing a show in someone's friggin' basement
Yeah.
where you can only fit like 20 people, but they're all packed in, going batshit crazy over you. Like that gives you so much energy and so much enthusiasm.
I would rather
Like,
play. I would rather play at a packed foo bar than a packed pageant.
Yeah,
like, for real. I really would.
No, actually, it's kind of funny. Like those small venues are so much fun. Like recently, Fivefold, they just put out their new album, and that was a great show. That was one of my favorite Fivefold shows. But the other one that's probably like still a really close tie between that as my favorite Fivefold show was when I got to see him like play in Highland at like an American Legion post, and there were maybe like 20 people there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was able to like stand right in front of Amalong and Coco, and I was just like, I am right here. There is no guardrail. There is no stage. I'm like right next to you guys. This is fun.
Yeah, sure.
Like just those
So some of my favorite memories, my best memories of playing live was playing like our first band, or like one of our first shows at ITR. Just the energy, like just spoiled. Have like that's our first experience playing a band. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
My first experience playing a band was at a middle school talent show. We were playing Green Day. And my distortion pedal's battery died halfway through the song. I was like, it's not punk rock. There's no distortion. I'm playing through the worst amp ever. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah,
I've had a great time hanging with you guys and getting to know you all a little better. So I'll remind everybody, January 15th at Pops. Come out and hear your favorite Disney songs done punk. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yep, and it's a free show, so
might
as well show up.
It's free.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you guys have tickets.
Yeah.
Coco gave us about $2,000.
Yeah.
Like 2,000 tickets.
Yeah, 2,000 tickets. It's,
All right.
it's insane.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Please. Get some tickets if you need them.
Before all of us forget, too, because I was in charge of it, so I'm going to forget, but it's really everybody else's fault.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Is we have a shirt for you, too.
Whoa,
Merry
jackpot.
Christmas!
So, Merry Christmas.
Thanks,
Because
guys.
Christmas is in 2 days at the point at which we're recording this.
Yeah. Well, this is very kind of you guys.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sure.
So yeah, come out January 15th, Pop, see these guys, grab some tunes on Bandcamp. And these guys were cool enough to jam a couple acoustic tunes for us. So we have Great Pariah and Invisible.
Yep.
We did live on the show, and then we want to play Cherry Blossoms or something, or what? Or
We can do
Yeah,
Cherry Blossoms.
We'll throw Cherry Blossoms up.
Yeah. So
Wait, we're playing it right now?
No, we'll put the studio version.
Okay. Eric almost had a heart attack.
And edit that part
It's like
out.
we didn't practice for that. Oh no!
we'll put the studio version of Cherry Blossoms on there. So give you a little taste of softer side and the full studio version. So, but yeah. Thanks, guys. This has been awesome, man. So.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for having us.
having
Yeah,
us.
it's
It's
been
been
really
a lot of
having
fun.
us, man.
It's been really cool showing up here and talking to you.
Yeah. So, and thanks, Pops, for...
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Coco,
you
who
very much.
unfortunately couldn't make it out tonight because he was going to try, but Fivefold stuff calls, which is like all good, man. But,
Yeah, that takes priority. I understand that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but thank you to Coco for letting us come up here.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
All right.
A proclamation of liberation. I'll meet you in the atmosphere, and then we'll touch the stars. No longer held by your fears, no longer held apart. Hold on to me, hold on to me, hold on to me, hold on. Am I invisible, or just a ghost of who I used to be? This oscillation, separation is slowly breaking me. Would you hear me now if I scream it out for the whole world to hear? A proclamation of liberation, to break the chains of fear.
Nice.
In the wake of a brand new spring is a meadow bright with trees. The cherry blossoms bloom with shades of pink. The petals float along the coming breeze. The jelly lands upon the earth and decompose into the dirt. They lay among all the seeds in the roots of what tomorrow brings. We feel like the rest of them. I wonder what this could have been, and I can only question that maybe we'd be more than another one. We thought that we were built to last, but in a moment gone so fast. And you and I, and we could have said maybe we'd be more than another one. At the dawn of a brand new day, older flowers start to wilt away. Then the seeds begin to grow. They pierce the ground and start to show. That's when I finally learned you gotta know what to have and love it before it's gone. Right now, we feel like the rest of them. I wonder what this could have been, and I can only question that maybe we'd be more than another one. We thought that we were built to last, but in a moment gone so fast. And you and I, and we could have said maybe we'd be more than another one. All these things I built upon the sand are crumbling and falling through my hands. All these things I built my life around, I've got to grow and learn to live without. All these things I built my life around, I've got to grow and learn to live without. We feel like the rest of them. I wonder what this could have been, and I can only question that maybe we'd be more than another one. We thought that we were built to last, but in a moment gone so fast. You and I, and we could have said maybe we'd be more than another one.
Hey everybody! Fuck!
God damn
Hey, everybody.
Okay, no,
He's saying
we're just
everyone.
switching. Switching.
Hey, everybody. That's
No,
all-
we're not switching it because the same damn thing's
That's all
gonna
you gotta
happen.
do.
No, we just say rock, paper, podcast. It's a lot less to screw up.
Everybody, like a body.
Hey,
No,
everybody.
I want us to say the band name, Nate. We'll practice
Okay.
it.
Until we get it
Until
right.
we get it right.
Six
Breathe
hours
together.
later.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, everybody. We're My Legacy, My Ghost.
And you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Is it weird? This
is
is.
gonna
You
be
said
so
this
weird.
and threw me off.
Okay, one more time. We are or we're?
Weird.
Weird. Okay.
One,
I'm having a hard
2, 3.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.